From the glaciers of the Alps to the towering cumulonimbus clouds. This is why it's so important. I need to read this book because I need to remember what different types of clouds there are, but it's already too late. Levi has murdered, or no, he's been murdered. Oh my gosh, I skipped a word. You know, sisters, the women in our family and how they impact each other maybe. I feel like this would be a really good book, and that's why I've been keeping it on my shelves. I've been meaning to read it. My apartment just shook a little bit. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Leandra the TBR Zero, and my goal is to lessen my physical TBR one book at a time. I am in a recording mood today. I just finished recording my May wrap-up, had a lot of fun, and thought I want to chat with you all a little bit more, and so I'm going to be doing a Bookshelves Scavenger Hunt video. I have done this twice before and I've had a lot of fun both times. I think it's a great way for you to reacquaint yourself with the books that you already own, whether they be books that you have read, books that you haven't read. I also think it could be a great opportunity for you to use this video as a way to create a TBR pile if you're someone who does it every single month. It allows for a bit more diversity, challenges, because there's going to be prompts that I'm going to be pulling from my Jovial jar of not diced tomatoes, but reading suggestions. So there could be themes, a setting requirement, maybe something about a character, the cover, the title, where it's sitting on your shelves, maybe a certain genre. I have no other suggestions that I can come up with because I don't remember what's even in this jar. I ended up doing it maybe over a year ago at this point. Still haven't gotten through all of them and probably won't get through them today either. So we'll probably do a few rounds, have a little bit of fun. I may do a recording of like a timer on the screen, but just pause the video, go find your book, or just think of one in your head. If you don't really feel like perusing your shelves today, that's totally fine. We're just relaxing. It's a Thursday for me, a random day of the week that I just want to have some fun in. So without further ado, let's just do the first prompt. I'll try to reach for the bottom and see what goes on. Oh, this is really interesting. Okay, you might not be able to read it, but it says black spine. Okay. I guess if you want, you can either restrict yourself to books you have read, books you haven't read, or it can be a black spine with the dust jacket on if you have hardbacks that have dust jackets, or if you really want to challenge, it has to be a black spine without the dust jacket on. I don't know what I'm going to do. We're going to see. I'll see you in a bit. Welcome back, everybody. I hope you were successful. I ended up finding Ellery Adams' second book in her book retreat mystery series, Murder in the Reading Room. And you can see it has a very black spine, but the cover is very yellow. It's actually really cute. You can see the cat playing around. And this is just such an awesome bibliomystery series. And by awesome, I mean, I like the idea of it. I haven't actually read anything in the series, even though I own book 2. And I actually own, I want to say the first 8 books in the series, which sounds insane. I understand that sounds crazy, but I promise there is a good reason for it. I ended up winning on Instagram a giveaway where Ellery Adams, she was having this birthday month giveaway kind of series of events, which was really lovely of her. She's such a great author and she interacts with her followers in such a lovely, interactive, kind of organic way. And so one of the various giveaways that she was doing was giving away up to the date all of the published books in the series. At this point, I think there is another book that's come out, and I did get sent the ARC, which is just so fascinating, and that means I really probably is a sign I should actually start reading this series ASAP. So this is the second book in the mystery series, and yeah, I don't think I said this. I'm grateful that I won that giveaway. Thank you so much, Ellery Adams. I'm sure you're not watching this. You don't know who I am, but I really am so happy and excited to get into this cozy mystery series, and I promise I will. I promise I'll read it soon. Maybe this video will finally prompt me to reading it. So anyway, this is book 2, and I love it because each book has this really cute bibliomystery punny title. Apparently it's this retreat, this B&B, I want to say, or some type of kind of hotel scenario where every single room has this like bookish theme. And this one, obviously, Murder in the Reading Room, is pretty much self-explanatory. It says, Storyton Hall, Virginia. Also, again, love the location title. It's a paradise for book lovers who come from all over for literary getaways. But manager Jane Stewart is temporarily leaving for another renowned resort in hopes of solving a twist-filled mystery. Oh my gosh, okay, so it's not even in the place where the rest of the series is set, apparently. Jane's boyfriend is missing, and she thinks she may find him at North Carolina's historic Biltmore Estate. Officially, she's there to learn about luxury hotel management, but she's also prowling around the breathtaking buildings and grounds looking for secret passageways and clues. One of the staff gardeners promises to be helpful. That is, until his body turns up in the reading room of his cottage, a book on his lap. When she finally locates the kidnapped Edwin, her boyfriend I'm assuming, his captor insists that she lead him back to Storyton Hall, convinced that it houses Ernest Hemingway's lost suitcase, stolen from a Paris train station in 1922. But before they can turn up the treasure, the bell may toll for another victim. Oh, this sounds so crazy. I think this sounds really fun. It is book 2, so I would want to read book 1 first, even though usually with cozy mysteries, you can read them in any order. Because I own them all, though, I would like to just read it chronologically. Yeah, really exciting. I look forward to seeing what you all ended up finding as well. But on to prompt number 2. Ooh, I picked up like a snarl of prompts. Let's see here. Oh my gosh, stop. Oh my goodness. I feel like I've done this before, but I'm sure I have others. It says seaside locale. It actually says seaside local. I definitely have done this before because I've definitely complained about myself and how I miswrote and said local instead of locale. You know what? Whatever. We'll do it again. I'll just try not to choose the same book I chose, and I challenge you to do the same. I went way out of the box on this one. I ended up choosing a nonfiction title that I bought on a whim. It looked so good, and I just never ended up reading it, obviously, which is usually the case for all the books that I own. But I ended up choosing Waters of the World by Sarah Dry, which is hilarious that her last name is Dry, because she's going to be talking about, basically, it's the story of the scientists who unraveled the mysteries of our oceans, atmosphere, and ice sheets and made the planet whole. I love that tagline. That sounds really fascinating. And I think that we need to learn more about our world. We don't encourage reading nonfiction that has like an eco focus too often. It seems a bit too scientific. I feel like it sometimes feels a bit gatekeeping, like because we aren't interested in STEM in regards to our regular lives, we don't really feel compelled to read about nature writing, about ecology and environmentalism, and I just think it's really important. So that's why a lot of the nonfiction I own has an environmental focus, and this is obviously one of them. From the glaciers of the Alps to the towering cumulonimbus clouds. This is why it's so important. I need to read this book because I need to remember what different types of clouds there are. I remember I read that, like I used to learn about those back in middle school, and now I can't even say the word. Cumulonimbus clouds of the Caribbean and the unexpectedly chaotic flows of the North Atlantic. Waters of the World is a tour through a 200-year history of a significant but underappreciated idea that the Earth has a global climate system made up of interconnected parts, constantly changing on all scales of time and space. A prerequisite for the discovery of global warming and climate change, this idea was forged by scientists studying water in its myriad forms. This is their story. Linking the history of the planet with the lives of those who studied it, Sarah Dry follows the remarkable scientists who summited volcanic peaks to peer through. What is going on? I can't read! Anyway. Sarah Dry follows the remarkable scientists who summited volcanic peaks to peer through an atmosphere's worth of water vapor, who cored mile-thick ice sheets to uncover the Earth's ancient climate history, and who flew inside storm clouds to understand how small changes in energy could produce both massive storms and the general circulation of the Earth's atmosphere. each toiled on his or her own corner of the planetary puzzle. Gradually, their cumulative discoveries coalesced into a unified working theory of our planet's climate. We now call this field climate science, and in recent years it has provoked great passions, anxieties, and warnings. But no less than the object of its study, the science of water and climate is, and always has been, evolving. By revealing the complexity of this history, Waters of the World delivers a better understanding of our planet's climate at a time when we need it most. Yeah, that's lovely. This book was published back in 2019. I'm pretty sure I bought it when it was like a new book. And so that means it's been on my shelf for 4 years. Oh my gosh. Yeah, hopefully I'll read this soon, because it's also just a lovely, beautiful copy. And I think it can count for Seaside Locale, because I'm imagining we're going to be learning about maybe like island nations. We're going to be in the Caribbean. We're going to be talking about sea life, both near land and in the deep as well. Yeah, really excited, really interested. I hope you found a cool book too. Probably fiction, because I feel like our first thought for that particular prompt was going to be fiction. Round 3. Oh, this actually works really well in regards to also remembering that even though AAPI Heritage Month is over, that doesn't mean that we shouldn't be reading it every other month of the year. So this says AAPI author, and that sounds great. Yeah, let's do it. This was a really easy one for me because I actually just bought this book. I graduated from my master's degree just this month, and as a celebration, I decided to go on a little bit of a shopping spree. I usually don't peruse bookstores. What I do is I go to the bookstore and buy books that I read that I loved from the library. And so I was like, you know what? I'm going to take a chance. This is going to be a treat. Let's peruse and find books that I've never read before, never heard of, and just take a chance, because I just don't do that anymore. And so one of the books that I ended up buying is Tale of the Dreamer's Son by Preeta Samarasan. Beautiful cover. Basically it says, skin is thicker than blood. In what was once a Scottish tea planter's mansion in the highlands of peninsular Malaysia, all religions are one and race is unheard of. That is, until the occupants of what is now known as Muhibba Center for World Peace are joined by Salma, a Malay Muslim woman. All are welcome here, they are reminded by their spiritual leader, Cyril Dragon, who is ignoring news of the changing political climate with its increasing religious intolerance. He is still trying to forget May 13th, 1969, when ethnic tensions boiled over into bloodshed. Tale of the Dreamer's Son guides us from that fateful incident in Malaysian history to the present day. Throughout, Samarasan's polyphonic, rambunctious prose brilliantly navigates the tug-of-war between ideals and reality. So I feel like that sounds really fascinating. I don't think I've really read any books that are set in Malaysia before, and I think this would be really informative because it's fictional, but it's obviously inspired by historical events. And yeah, I'm really excited to eventually read it. This is a thick one. That's another reason why this entire experience was very new to me. Not only am I trying an author that I've never read before, and I bought it new, it's a thick one. I usually would never buy a book that's this thick voluntarily unless I've already read it and I really like it. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. I hope you guys found an AAPI author as well. And again, remember, just because AAPI Heritage Month ended in May, that in no way means that we should not be diversifying our shelves every single month of the year. Round 4. I don't even know if shaking it like that actually switches anything up. I don't really know if that, because these are quite snarled, as I said. Oh, cool, and might be a little bit hard. So this just says 1990s. I guess you can interpret that how you want. It can be a book published in the 1990s, or more interestingly, maybe a 1990s setting. I don't know what will be easier for me. I'm thinking the publication day will be easier, but we'll see. Wow, this was a lot easier than I thought. It was the second book that I picked up, probably because I kind of went for my modern classics vibe. I thought that was going to be like a good strategy for this. And I ended up finding The Virgin Suicides by Jeffrey Eugenides, I think is his last name. I really want to read this book. I bought it, again, a while ago, thinking that this would be a really fascinating read for me, and I just never read it. And it was interesting because I ended up picking it up. Like, I bought it at the same time that a friend of mine bought it. We had never discussed it. And then within the same week, she's like, oh, I'm reading this book. And I said, I just bought that book. And I thought that would inspire me to read it soon. Obviously, it didn't. This was years ago. But yeah, this is more so deemed a modern classic. It was originally published in 1993. And I know that it was also turned into a film, which I did see parts of it, weirdly. I remember seeing parts of it. So I understand the gist, but it does seem a bit unrealistic from what I understand, but it is a fascinating kind of social commentary on, I think, the expectation of women, on what society views of women, and just, yeah, through this kind of odd circumstances going on with this family. I'll read the back of the book, as I've done with every other book. I don't know why I have to tell you this. Anyway, in a quiet suburb of Detroit, the 5 Lisbon sisters, beautiful, eccentric, and obsessively watched by the neighborhood boys, commit suicide one by one over the course of a single year. As the boys observe them from afar, transfixed, they piece together the mystery of the family's fatal melancholy in this hypnotic and unforgettable novel of adolescent love, disquiet, and death. Jeffrey Eugenides evokes the emotions of youth with haunting sensitivity and dark humor, and creates a coming-of-age story unlike any of our time. Adapted into a critically acclaimed film, I knew it, by Sofia Coppola, I'm assuming that's how you say her name. The Virgin Suicides is a modern masterwork, a lyrical and timeless tale of sex and suicide that transforms and mythologizes suburban middle American life. Yeah, I definitely kind of viewed this as being just suburbia at its worst and beautiful. That's kind of what I was imagining it as well. The author is also the Pulitzer Prize winner for Middlesex, which I didn't even know either. So that's kind of interesting. And the book I got was the 25th anniversary, so you can kind of guess how long this has been on my shelf as well. Anyway, yeah, really interesting. I don't think I choose books that are set or published in the 1990s very often. I either read more classic work set long ago, at least 100 years or more, or I am reading something that's been published in the last 5 years. So this is definitely an area that I tend to neglect on my shelves as well. Round 5. You can tell I wrote these at different times because sometimes the writing is in a different color. Yep, everything's falling. It's fine. Oh my gosh. I don't know why I'm so shocked by this. I just think it might be hard. Parent as the main character. The reason why I feel like this might be hard for me is because I'm not someone who's interested in having children, so I usually am not that interested in people who are parents who are main characters in books. I think that kind of is a residual effect. But yeah, and it has to be a main character. It can't be, you know, a really kind of in the mix secondary character where like the child's the main character. It has to be a main character. I can think of books that I've read that have that, but I don't really know about books that I haven't read. So I don't know. Well, we'll see. Wish me luck. I'll wish you luck too. Maybe it's not as hard for you. Maybe I'm the only person who's having this problem. That was so hard. Oh my gosh. I didn't know what to do. I literally did not know how to even go about looking for this. So interestingly, on my search, I did find a book that I bought secondhand at some point, and I found the author's signature in it, which I thought was really funny. It's the book by Tessa Bridle, something about the Tree of the Stars. What is it? The Tree of Red Stars, if anyone's heard of that. Apparently, I have the author's signature. It's a little note addressed to the previous owner. It says like, "Dear so-and-so, I hope you enjoy," and it has her name in it. But that was kind of fun to find. Anyway, so the book I ended up finding, and I should have known this because I have read the first 2 books in the series, is Murder Off the Books by Tamara Berry. This was a book that was an auto buy for me. I pre-ordered it, which means I should be reading it soon because I'm trying to not buy books and then just let them sit on my shelves for too long. And yeah, it's the 3rd book in the By the Book series. The first 2 books, Buried in a Good Book and Spine of Death. Both were great. I gave them both 5 stars. It's just such a fun, wild ride. I think Tamara Berry does a really good job of kind of just having a lot of fun with the cozy mystery genre. She doesn't really take it seriously. She includes a lot of kind of punny or cyclical humor, which I really enjoy. A lot of absurdity where the characters totally accept the fact that this is a bit weird and they were just going with the flow. And it's set in this small, I believe, Oregon town. It might be Oregon or Washington, but basically it's a small town that this thriller writer ends up moving to with her daughter, Gertrude, and they just start solving crimes that are happening. And what's really fun is that Tess is a method writer, and so she puts herself in these weird scenarios to see how realistic they are, which just of course adds to the hilarity. She's very much seat on her pants. Her daughter Gertrude is super into all of this stuff, and in the 2nd book, I believe she interns with the coroner, which is just really fun. And with Murder Off the Books, this one opens where they finally have really settled into the town that they're living in, and from what I understand is they open up a bookstore, the first bookstore, independent bookstore in this town, and of course that's probably going to add some chaos to the mix as well. It says, being an author can really be murder, ... Best-selling author Tess Harrow's career is doing well thanks to the real-life crimes she solves and mines for material, but she's developed a reputation for putting herself and her family in harm's way for the sake of a story. So Tess decides to drum up positive press by combining her new bookstore opening and release party in one. Matters aren't helped when her mom unexpectedly sweeps into town with her notorious murderer boyfriend in tow. Sure, Levi Parker was technically cleared of all charges, but Tess doesn't trust him or what he wants with her lonely, wealthy mother. Tess doesn't hesitate to take the news straight to the sheriff, but it's already too late. Levi has murdered! Oh no, he's been murdered! Oh my gosh, I skipped a word. Levi has been murdered. The last thing Tess wants is to be involved in yet another investigation, but this one is too close to home to ignore, especially when a famous podcaster arrives to steal Tess's thunder. If Tess wants to protect her town and her family, she'll need to get to the bottom of things first, and without stumbling on any other murders in the process. Yeah. Super fun. I'm really excited. I did listen to the first 2 books on audiobook. The voice narrator is great, and then I ended up buying both copies. This is the first one that I bought before listening, and so I'm taking a chance, but because I love the first 2 books, come on, I'm sure I'm gonna love this one, and I think I might just read this one straight out rather than doing an audiobook, because I think that's the ultimate test to see how much you really enjoy an author and their books. If you end up kind of liking both audiobooks and regular books and just mixing them and everything. So yeah, oh my gosh, can you believe that? Finding a parent as a main character, that is crazy. And she also, Gertrude has kind of become her partner in solving crimes as well, so it's more of a mother-daughter solving team, which I wasn't expecting, and I do like that element as well. So that's 5. Should we do one more? I think I'm just having too much fun. We'll do a 6th round. This is gonna be the final one, and hopefully it's a good one. Oh my gosh, I'm so scared. I hope it's a good one. I don't know if I want it to be challenging or not. Oh, this isn't. Speaking of parents, this says something my mom would like. So this can be interpreted for you, maybe something one of your parents would like, one of your guardians, or maybe like a mentor if you're not really close to your parents. Just, interpret it how you like. All of our families are designed differently, so certainly don't feel like you've got to be left out for this round. So just anyone, even if it's your closest friend, because let's be honest, blood, versus, you know, friends being your family. We decide who our true families are. So if it's someone that is just the closest person to you, what do you think they would like? And then grab that from your shelf. And yeah, I'll see you in a bit. Welcome back. I hope that your final round was successful. I ended up choosing one that I think my mom would like. This is, I can't even read the title, The Star-Crossed Sisters of Tuscany by Lori Nelson Spielman. You can see that this was actually a part of a Book of the Month pick long ago, because I haven't been a member of that in a while. Yeah, it says, oh my gosh, it says November 2020 on the back. So yeah, I probably should have read this a while ago. It's just one of those books that stays on your shelf forever. And I do think it looks good. I chose it for a reason. And the reason why I think my own mother would like it is because it looks like it's set in Italy, which honestly just sounds like a lovely backdrop. It seems like a family drama, maybe generational perspectives as well. It says, since the day Filomena Fontana cast a curse upon her sister more than 200 years ago, not one second-born Fontana daughter has found lasting love. Some, like second-born Amelia, the happily single baker at her grandfather's Brooklyn deli, claim it's an odd coincidence. Others, like her sexy, desperate for love cousin Lucy, insist it's a true hex. But both are bewildered when their great-aunt calls with an astounding proposition. If they accompany her to her homeland of Italy, Aunt Poppy vows she'll meet the love of her life on the steps of the Ravello Cathedral on her 80th birthday and break the Fontana second daughter curse once and for all. Against the backdrop of wandering Venetian canals, rolling Tuscan fields, and enchanting Amalfi Coast villages, romance blooms, destinies are found, and family secrets are unearthed. Secrets that could threaten the family far more than a centuries-old curse. Yeah, I mean, this does seem like a really fun kind of travel mystery, what am I saying? Travel, family, generational kind of like drama is what I'm imagining. I think it'll kind of be this really heartwarming, but also maybe heart-wrenching at times, kind of, especially about family, you know, sisters, the women in our family and how they impact each other maybe. I feel like this would be a really good book, and that's why I've been keeping it on my shelves. I've been meaning to read it, because if I didn't think I would ever read it, I probably would just give it away, because, you know, what's the point of keeping a book on your shelf if you just know you're not going to get to it? But yeah, it looks really good, and I would like to actually finally get to the few last remaining Book of the Month books that I do happen to still own. Okay, let me grab all the books that I ended up picking for my prompts, just to showcase them, because it's really fun. Wow, quite the variety of titles, if I'm going to be completely honest. Usually I feel like I find myself with a theme, either be like all classics or all mysteries or something like that, but I really did kind of find a nice mix. We've got, you know, the two mysteries on top, both being cozy. We have this, you know, probably going to be a really thoughtful, provoking book set in Malaysia that also includes some historical information. We've got a modern classic, The Virgin Suicides. I was able to throw in a nonfiction book in there that talks about climate science. And then we've got this kind of historical meets modern family generational drama. Interesting. This is why it's really fun to do this, because I can assure you that a few of these books I definitely forgot that I had on my shelves, and so this is why it's really nice to do that. Anyway, I hope you had a successful bookshelf hunt for whatever reason you ended up doing this, and yeah, I would love to see which ones you found, or if there are any books that I mentioned that you did read and you're like, Leandra, what are you waiting for? Read them right now. Anyway, if you enjoyed the video, consider liking. Again, comment. I'd love to say hello to you and let me know if I should continue this series. I probably will anyway. I think I said that last time just because I have a lot of fun doing it. And yeah, subscribe. Consider ringing the bell, because then if another video like this pops up, you'll be one of the first notified. My apartment just shook a little bit. Someone must have done something elsewhere. Anyway, that is a good note to end on. So I hope you guys have a great one, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!